In the fading light of a weary day, a stranger arrived at the edge of a small, weather-beaten settlement. A woman so exhausted and worn that her very steps seemed to carry the weight of untold sorrows. No one knew her name. She was a ghost of the frontier, drifting silently through a land that demanded strength and swallowed weakness without mercy. Yet, in a quiet corner of that rough town, a man whose hands had known both hardship and kindness took it upon himself to tend to her without a word, cleaning her feet as the sun dipped low, in a silence that spoke louder than any introduction ever could. He was a man shaped by the unforgiving winds of the Old West, hardened by years of solitude, battle, and loss. But beneath that tough exterior lay a heart still capable of great compassion. As he gently washed the dust and grime from her battered feet, their silence created a fragile bridge between two worlds, one of pain and resilience, the other of quiet understanding. Neither knew what the future held, nor did they need to. In that fleeting moment, something unspoken passed between them, a connection forged not by words, but by the simple act of care. The townsfolk watched with a mix of curiosity and suspicion, unsure what to make of the mysterious woman and the man who tended to her. Rumors spread like wildfire, stories of who she might be, where she had come from, and what secrets she carried in her eyes. But the man paid no heed. For him, this moment was not about judgment or questions. It was about the undeniable humanity that reached beyond names and pasts, binding strangers together in the raw truth of shared vulnerability. That night, as the stars began to scatter across the endless sky, the silent act of cleansing feet became a symbol of something much greater, a testament to mercy in a place ruled by hardship, and a reminder that kindness can be the first step toward healing even the deepest wounds. In the Old West, where trust was scarce and survival was fierce, this small gesture held the power to change two lives forever. Join me as we unravel the story behind the nameless woman and the man who cared for her without asking a single question. An intimate tale of compassion, courage, and the quiet strength found in the unlikeliest of moments on the frontier. The woman's arrival at the edge of town was like a whisper carried on the wind, soft, mysterious, and impossible to ignore. Her footsteps were slow and deliberate, each one marked by the exhaustion of a journey no soul should have to endure. Her clothes hung heavy with dust and wear, and her eyes, though shadowed by hardship, held a flicker of fierce determination. No one knew her name, nor the story she carried in silence, but her presence stirred a ripple of unease and curiosity in the hearts of the townsfolk. The man who first saw her was a figure weathered by time and hardship, a cowboy hardened by years spent wrestling with both nature and his own demons. He had learned to read the unspoken language of survival, the subtle signs of pain and hope hidden in the smallest gestures. When he saw the woman, he understood at once that she was a soul in need, fragile yet unyielding. Without a word, he offered what few in the harsh frontier could: care and kindness, simple yet profound. In the quiet of the barn, away from the watchful eyes and harsh judgments of the town, the man set to work cleaning the woman's weary feet. The water was cool and clear, a sharp contrast to the dust and grime that coated her skin. Each stroke was tender, deliberate, an unspoken vow of respect and compassion. Their silence spoke volumes. No questions asked, no stories demanded. In this sacred quiet, trust began to take root between two strangers, bound by the raw reality of suffering and the healing power of mercy. Outside, rumors swirled like the dust devils racing across the plains. Some saw the woman as a threat. Others whispered of a broken past that would bring trouble. But the man knew better. He understood that beneath the layers of hardship lay a spirit unwilling to be defeated. In this land where survival was often measured by toughness and isolation, the act of tending to another's wounds was a radical defiance, a gesture that challenged the coldness of the frontier and dared to kindle hope. As the night deepened, the barn became a sanctuary from a world too harsh to bear. The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, bearing witness to a fragile moment of connection that transcended names and histories. In the Old West, where life was often a brutal battle, this quiet act of care whispered a promise. that even in the darkest places, humanity could be found, and with it, the chance for a new beginning. The woman's past remained a mystery, a closed book written in silence and shadow. Yet, in her quiet presence, the cowboy sent stories of loss and resilience that spoke louder than words. She carried herself with the weary grace of someone who had seen too much suffering yet refused to surrender. Her gaze, once haunted, began to soften under the gentle light of care and companionship, revealing glimpses of a spirit unbroken by the relentless frontier. Days passed as they settled into an unspoken rhythm. Work, quiet moments by the fire, and the shared solitude of two souls navigating a world that often offered little mercy. The man's hands, skilled from years of labor, tended not only to the woman's wounds, but also to the fragile trust growing between them. Their silence was not emptiness, but a space where understanding blossomed, where two strangers found solace in each other's company without the need for hurried words or explanations. The townspeople, ever watchful and quick to judge, murmured amongst themselves. Questions lingered in the air. Who was she? Why had she come? What secrets did she hide beneath the dust? Yet, the man's quiet protection shielded her from suspicion. His actions spoke louder than the gossip. Through care and respect, he offered a shield from the harshness of a world too quick to cast stones at the weary and unknown. Together, they faced the unforgiving realities of frontier life: blistering sun, sudden storms, and the ever-present threat of danger lurking beyond the town's edge. Each trial was met not just with endurance, but with a deepening bond that transformed survival into shared purpose. The barn, once a place of solitude, became a refuge where healing began, where past wounds slowly gave way to tentative hope. In the stillness of the night, beneath the vast expanse of stars, the woman and the cowboy sat side by side, two souls connected by a silent promise. They knew their journey was just beginning, that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges. But in that moment, there was peace. A peace born not from certainty, but from the courage to care, to reach out, and to believe in the possibility of redemption even in the wildest corners of the Old West. As the days stretched into weeks, the woman's strength began to resurface like a hidden spring beneath the desert sands. The cowboy watched quietly, admiring the slow but steady reclaiming of life in her eyes. Each task she undertook, from mending fences to tending the horses, was a testament to her resilience, a silent declaration that despite the dust and scars, she was far from broken. Together, they rebuilt not just the ranch, but the fragile trust that life on the frontier demanded. The man's care extended beyond the physical wounds. He became a steady anchor amid the uncertainty that haunted her. There were moments when shadows flickered across her face, memories of loss and betrayal threatening to pull her under. Yet, in the quiet companionship they shared, she found a refuge, someone who neither pressed for answers nor judged the past, but simply offered presence and unwavering support. It was in this space that healing began to take root. The town, ever watchful and quick to whisper, began to soften its gaze. Skepticism turned to curiosity, and curiosity into cautious acceptance. People noticed the woman's quiet dignity, her hard-won grace, and the cowboy's steadfast protection. The barn, once merely a place of shelter, grew into a symbol, a beacon of hope that even those forgotten by the harsh West could find a place to belong. Their story, though unspoken, began to ripple quietly through the settlement. Yet, peace was a fragile thing in a land ruled by harsh realities. Rumors stirred unrest, and not everyone welcomed change or new alliances. The past was a stubborn ghost, haunting both the woman and the cowboy in different ways. But their bond, forged in silence and care, became a shield against the storms that threatened to tear them apart. In a world where survival often meant solitude, they found strength in togetherness. At night, beneath the endless tapestry of stars, their silence spoke of promises and unspoken dreams. They understood that the road ahead was uncertain and fraught with danger, but also filled with the possibility of redemption. In the quiet barn, away from judgment and fear, two souls began to write a new chapter, one of healing, hope, and the enduring power of compassion in the wild frontier. The woman's presence began to reshape the rhythm of the ranch and the lives around it. Her quiet strength inspired others who had long struggled under the weight of their own hardships. Through small acts of kindness and determination, she became a silent force for change, a reminder that even the most battered spirits could rise again. The cowboy, once a solitary figure, found renewed purpose not only in protecting her, but in witnessing the transformation she ignited. Together, they faced the brutal demands of frontier life, the blistering heat, sudden storms, and the ever-present threat of violence from those unwilling to accept new beginnings. But their partnership was a fortress, built on trust and the shared knowledge that they were stronger together. Each challenge was met with unwavering resolve, a testament to the courage that arises when two souls choose to stand united against the world. The barn, once a refuge from the dust and danger, became a gathering place where stories were shared and wounds slowly healed. Neighbors, once wary, began to see the woman not as a stranger, but as a part of the community, a living proof that the Old West held space for mercy and transformation. The cowboys' quiet leadership and steadfast loyalty helped bridge divides, knitting together a fractured town with threads of hope and respect. But beneath the surface, old fears and suspicions still simmered. The frontier was a land of contradictions, where hope and hardship walked hand in hand. The woman and the cowboy knew that peace was not a destination, but a daily choice, a continuous act of bravery. Their story was one of persistence, a reminder that even in the harshest conditions, the human heart could find ways to heal and connect. As the prairie winds whispered through the night, carrying the promise of new beginnings, the man and woman stood side by side. Their silent vow to protect and support one another echoed through the quiet land, a testament to the enduring power of compassion. In a wild frontier, where every day was a battle, they had found something rare and precious, a shared hope that could weather any storm. As time passed, the woman's resilience began to inspire more than just the cowboy. Her quiet strength and determination became a beacon for others in the settlement who had faced their own battles in silence. Slowly, neighbors who once viewed her with suspicion started to see her as a symbol of hope and courage. The whispers of doubt gave way to stories of respect, as the community began to understand that survival in the Old West was not just about strength, but about the spirit to rise above hardship. The cowboy, too, found himself transformed by her presence. His hardened exterior softened, revealing a depth of empathy that had long been buried beneath years of solitude and struggle. Their bond deepened, not just as companions, but as two souls intertwined by shared pain and healing. Together, they faced the relentless challenges of frontier life, not as isolated individuals, but as partners united in purpose and hope. Yet, peace was a fragile treasure in this wild land. Threats lurked in the form of rival settlers, bandits, and the unforgiving forces of nature. But the pair met these dangers with unwavering resolve, their partnership a fortress against the uncertainty that surrounded them. Their courage was quiet but unbreakable, a testament to the power of trust forged through trials and tenderness. The barn, once a simple shelter, became a sanctuary, a place where wounds were tended, stories were exchanged, and a new community was slowly born. The woman and the cowboy cultivated more than just the land. They nurtured a spirit of resilience and connection that began to spread like wildfire. Their story was no longer just theirs, but belonged to all who longed for redemption and belonging on the harsh frontier. Beneath the vast, starry sky, the man and woman often sat in reflective silence, their hearts full of unspoken dreams. They knew their journey was far from over, but in that moment, surrounded by the wild beauty of the West, they found a fragile peace, one born from compassion, courage, and the unyielding hope that no matter the past, a new future was possible. The woman's mysterious past gradually unfolded through shared moments and quiet revelations. She spoke little of the pain that had driven her to the edge of town, but her eyes told stories of loss, betrayal, and survival. The cowboy listened without judgment, understanding that healing required patience and acceptance. Together, they built a space where vulnerability was met with strength, and the scars of the past could begin to fade. Their daily lives became a testament to perseverance. From dawn until dusk, they worked side by side, repairing fences, tending livestock, and preparing for the harsh winters that tested every soul in the territory. The physical labor was grueling, but it forged a deeper connection between them. In the rhythm of work and rest, they found a balance that sustained their spirits and anchored their hopes. The townspeople, too, began to shift in their perceptions. What once was whispered gossip turned into stories of admiration and gratitude. The woman's quiet bravery and the cowboy's steadfast loyalty softened hardened hearts. Their story inspired others to look beyond appearances and past mistakes, reminding the community that everyone carried their own battles and deserved a chance at redemption. But the frontier was never without its dangers. Encounters with hostile forces and the ever-present threat of harsh weather tested their resolve. Yet, the woman and the cowboy faced these challenges united, their combined strength greater than any adversary. They were living proof that even in the wildest places, hope could be a powerful shield. As the prairie wind carried the scent of sage and earth, their shared journey became a symbol of something greater, a beacon of humanity in a land that often seemed ruled by hardship and solitude. Their silent vow to care for one another echoed through the open plains, a timeless testament to the power of compassion amidst the rugged heart of the Old West. The seasons turned, and with them came a deepening of the connection between the woman and the cowboy. Their bond grew beyond mere companionship, becoming a partnership forged in the fires of hardship and quiet understanding. They learned to read each other's unspoken words and anticipate needs before they were voiced. In a world where trust was scarce, their silent communication became a sanctuary, a language of empathy and loyalty. Around the settlement, their story began to take root in the hearts of others. Tales of the man who cared for the nameless woman without a single question spread through the saloons and campfires. It became a story of hope, proof that kindness could thrive even in the harshest of places. Slowly, the walls of suspicion fell away, replaced by curiosity and, eventually, respect. The woman was no longer a stranger. She was becoming a vital thread in the community's fabric. Yet, their journey was far from easy. The land was unforgiving, and danger lurked in unexpected places. Bandits, rival ranchers, and the unpredictability of the wild frontier all tested their resolve. But through each challenge, they stood together, their strength multiplied by the bond they had nurtured. Their partnership was a beacon of resilience, showing that even amidst chaos, unity could prevail. In the quiet moments, when the stars blanketed the sky and the prairie lay still, the woman shared pieces of her past, stories of heartbreak and loss that had shaped her journey. The cowboy listened, his own experiences weaving into a tapestry of shared pain and hope. Through their stories, they found healing, a balm that soothed old wounds and forged a path toward a future neither had dared to imagine alone. The barn, once merely a shelter from the elements, became a symbol of transformation. It was a place where broken spirits could find refuge, where the dust of hardship could settle, and where new beginnings were born. Their story was no longer just about survival. It was about the power of compassion to change lives in even the wildest corners of the Old West. The woman's resilience inspired others, especially those who had felt forgotten or defeated by the unforgiving land. She became a quiet leader in the community, showing by example that strength and vulnerability could coexist. The cowboy, once solitary and guarded, found purpose not just in protecting her, but in helping others find their own paths to healing. Together, they nurtured a community built on trust, respect, and shared humanity. Despite their growing influence, threats remained ever present. The frontier's lawlessness meant that peace was a fragile victory, constantly under siege by greed and violence. But the woman and the cowboy faced these dangers with unwavering determination. Their courage was not loud or boastful. It was steady and persistent, a steady flame that refused to be extinguished by the darkest nights. Their partnership became a source of inspiration for the entire settlement. They taught that true strength came from unity, that compassion could bridge even the widest divides. The barn often echoed with the laughter of children and the sharing of stories, a testament to the community they had helped rebuild. It was a place of healing, hope, and renewal. Yet beneath their triumphs lay the quiet acknowledgement that the road ahead would remain difficult. The frontier was a land of endless trials, where every day brought new challenges. But the woman and the cowboy faced the future hand in hand, ready to meet whatever came with the strength born from their shared journey. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of fire and gold, they stood together, no longer two weary strangers, but partners bound by compassion, courage, and the unyielding spirit of the Old West. Their story was a living legacy, a testament to the power of kindness amidst the harshest of lands. The story of the nameless woman and the cowboy had grown beyond the boundaries of their small settlement, spreading quietly like a whispered legend carried on the prairie winds. Travelers who passed through the town would recount the tale of a man who cared for a stranger without asking a single question, and a woman whose resilience and quiet strength inspired all who met her. Their story became a symbol of hope in a land often marked by loss and hardship, a reminder that even the most broken souls could find healing in unexpected places. This growing reputation brought with it a shift in the community's heart, softening old prejudices and fostering a spirit of acceptance and compassion that began to take root. It was no longer just about survival. It was about building a life worth living together. Yet, as their influence grew, so too did the dangers that lurked beyond the horizon. The wild frontier was unyielding, and old rivalries, land disputes, and the ever-present threat of violence reminded them that peace was fragile. Raiders and lawless men tested the boundaries of the settlement's safety, forcing the community to band together as never before. But through every challenge, the bond between the woman and the cowboy proved unbreakable. Their partnership was not just a union of two people. It was a beacon of resilience and courage that rallied others to stand strong in the face of adversity. The quiet strength they embodied became the foundation upon which the town's hope was rebuilt, teaching everyone that unity was the greatest weapon against the darkness. Amidst the turmoil, the woman's past remained a shadow, haunting the edges of her newfound life. Memories of betrayal and loss sometimes returned with a fierce intensity, threatening to unravel the progress she had made. The cowboy became her anchor, a steadfast presence who never wavered even when the weight of the past seemed unbearable. Together, they navigated the difficult path of healing, learning that trust was not given freely but earned through patience, empathy, and unwavering support. Their story was not just about overcoming hardship. It was about the transformative power of love and understanding to break even the strongest chains. Their shared journey also reshaped the very fabric of the community. The barn where they first found refuge had become a symbol of hope and renewal, a place where stories were shared, wounds were tended, and futures were dreamed. The laughter of children playing beneath its rafters and the mingling voices of settlers and travelers alike testified to the power of compassion to create belonging. It was a testament to the fact that in a land often ruled by isolation and suspicion, human connection could still flourish, creating a legacy that would endure long after the dust settled on the frontier. As the twilight sky deepened into a blanket of stars, the woman and the cowboy stood side by side, looking out over the land they had helped shape. Their journey, marked by pain and perseverance, had brought them here, not as mere survivors, but as pioneers of a new way of life. Their legacy was not written in history books or carved in a stone, but in the hearts they touched and the lives they changed. In the vast and wild West, they had found something rare and precious, a shared humanity that no hardship could ever take away. The passage of time only strengthened the bond between the woman and the cowboy, transforming their story into a living testament to the enduring power of compassion and resilience. The woman, once a nameless traveler worn thin by hardship, had grown into a figure of strength and hope, inspiring those around her to believe in the possibility of redemption and new beginnings. The cowboy, whose life had been shaped by solitude and struggle, found in her not only a partner, but a reason to embrace the future with renewed purpose. Together, they had forged a community that celebrated unity over division, kindness over judgment, and courage over fear. Their legacy lived on in the stories told around campfires long after they had passed, a beacon for those who faced their own battles on the unforgiving frontier. The barn where their journey began remained a sacred place, a symbol of the sanctuary they created amidst chaos. Children played under its shelter, oblivious to the scars and struggles that had once defined the land. The community they helped build thrived on the principles of empathy, respect, and chosen family, offering a sharp contrast to the loneliness that had once dominated their lives. The woman's past, though never forgotten, was no longer a source of shame or pain, but a foundation upon which she had rebuilt her life. Her journey from dust-covered stranger to beloved member of the community illustrated the power of resilience and the importance of compassion in healing deep wounds. The cowboy's steadfast support showed that love could be a force stronger than the harshest storms, offering safety and hope where there was once only fear. As the stars blanketed the endless sky and the prairies settled into peaceful quiet, their spirits seemed to linger in the soft night breeze, a reminder that their story was more than just a tale of survival. It was a call to all who hear it to open their hearts, to embrace the power of kindness, and to find strength and connection. In a world that often feels divided and unforgiving, their legacy shines as a timeless testament to the human spirit's capacity to heal and unite. And so, the story of the man who cleaned the nameless woman's feet in silence lives on, etched not only in the dust of the Old West, but in the hearts of all who believe in the quiet power of compassion, the courage to care without asking questions, and the hope that every soul deserves a chance at belonging. In the relentless and unforgiving landscape of the Old West, where survival often demanded toughness over tenderness, the story of the man who silently cleaned the feet of a nameless woman reveals a profound truth. Compassion is the quietest, yet most powerful, act of courage. This story reminds us that sometimes the smallest gestures, those done without expectation or question, can change the course of lives and heal wounds far deeper than the eye can see. It challenges us to reconsider how we measure strength, showing that true bravery often lies in kindness and humility. Throughout their journey, we've witnessed how silence can speak volumes, how trust can be built without words, and how two souls shaped by hardship can find connection in the most unexpected moments. This tale teaches us that everyone carries unseen battles, and that offering care without judgment is the greatest gift we can give. In a world that too often divides us by what we do not understand, their story is a call to look beyond the surface and embrace the shared humanity that binds us all. As you reflect on this narrative, ask yourself, where in your own life could you extend a hand in silence, offering support without conditions? What relationships might be transformed if we chose to listen with empathy instead of suspicion? The Old West may seem distant, but its lessons are timeless, reminding us that acts of compassion ripple far beyond the moment, planting seeds of hope and change in hearts and communities. This story leaves us with a powerful challenge: to carry forward the courage to care quietly, the humility to serve without recognition, and the strength to stand by those who walk through dust and darkness. It calls us to be the quiet heroes in our own stories, showing that even in the wildest and toughest places, kindness can be the greatest frontier we conquer. If this story moved you, join our community by subscribing to the channel, liking this video, and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Every voice matters, and your engagement helps keep these powerful stories alive, reminding us all of the quiet strength found in compassion and the lasting impact of caring without asking for a name. Together, we can inspire a world where kindness is the bravest act of all.